we were doing a science experiment. It was Sunday afternoon. We were doing a science experiment on the back porch, and somebody texted me and said, your opponent is about to call and concede, and so make sure you have your phone turned up. And so I told him, hang on, I may have to take a phone call here. And then about 5 minutes later, my phone rang, and my opponent and I she was very gracious. We had a very gracious conversation. And then after that, my phone just started ringing off the hook with everybody calling to congratulate me, because she, did a press release and a post on her social media right after that. So then everybody knew. I mean, they obviously know what a representative does, because I've done it before down at the state capitol for the last 2 years. And so for them, I think it was just more a sense of we won. And what 8-year-old and 12-year-old doesn't like to win? So I think they're proud that that we won, and they are kind of like my wife and I we're looking forward to the next 2 years to figure out, like, what is this going to actually mean for our family, with me having to go back and forth to Washington D.C., and what are the different events that they'll be able to come along with. We'll be able to keep the family together. What are the things where it's just going to be me solo? But we're excited for this new adventure. We were able to, when I was in Washington D.C. last week, we were able to find an apartment to rent that's right next to the Capitol, and so we'll be able to keep the family together because we homeschool. So there will be times, where the whole family will go back to DC if we think we're going to be there a little bit longer, and then we'll all come back to Colorado and be able to travel together and again keep the family together while we do the work that the voters have asked us to do. Yeah, so we get 2 tickets to the swearing in, and then kids 12 and under are allowed to come onto the floor with me. So obviously my boys are both 12 and 8, so they'll be able to come to the swearing in on the floor, and then the 2 tickets will probably go to my wife and my mom. So that's the next time I'm going to see my mom. We'll go back to my mom's house, mom and dad. My brothers will be there, and we'll just celebrate Thanksgiving as a family down in Elbert County. I'm the oldest of 4 boys. Trucks. We'll all look at everybody's truck, and we'll all talk about whatever work needs to be done on the trucks, and we'll talk about tires and how they do in the snow, and we like our, camionetas, we like them. So in the state legislature, a bill, after it goes through committee, goes through 2 readings, second reading and third reading. So second reading is where it's formally debated on the House floor by all members of the House, and then third reading is the final formal recorded vote, but it's separated into 2 parts, the actual debate, and then the next day then you have the final recorded vote, and so you call it second reading and third reading. They don't do that on the US House. What happens in the House is when a bill goes to the House floor, and again, I haven't actually seen it yet because I haven't been sworn in, but my understanding is that bill comes with a rules package around it that says how long the debate will be, and then after that debate is done, then it immediately goes to a recorded vote. So there's not a second reading and a third reading. There's a rules package that's passed along with it that decides how long the debate's going to be, and then it goes to a vote. So that's a little bit different from the state capitol, because that rules package can change depending on a variety of different things. So it sounds like there's like 4 different templated rules packages that dictate how long the vote will go, how long the debate will go, who can bring amendments, how many amendments will be allowed to be brought to the bill. And that's a different process than at the state capitol. And so trying to wrap my mind around that and understand that was, to me, one of the most interesting parts of the new member orientation. No, so that's another difference at the federal level is committee assignments are made through this thing called the steering committee. And so before the steering committee is even assembled, you have to vote on who's going to be a member of that committee. So it's all the leadership of the Republicans in the House, the Speaker, the Majority Leader, the conference chair, the whip, those folks. But then every region of the country gets to elect 1 member to the steering committee. And so before we even had the steering committee set up, then we had to go through the elections to see who the regional representative is going to be to that steering committee. So the steering committee is finalized now. They're going to meet in December, and then that's when they're going to figure out all of the different committee assignments. Sure. Yep, energy and commerce and agriculture. Yeah, so that's what I have to do, is now I have to reach out to all of those steering committee members and explain to them, hey, this is my district, this is the important things to the district, and so these are the committees that I would like to be on, and you have to make your pitch to all of those steering committee members now that we actually know who the steering committee is. Yeah, so I had never been to the Madison Library of Congress before. It's just an incredible building, an incredible piece of history, incredible architecture, just the paintings and the books around how it captures and preserves American history in the library. I'd never been in the building before, and it was just an incredible building. Oh, I don't know if it'll be one picture, but it'll be pictures of family. It'll be a picture from some of my military pictures, some of my law enforcement pictures, just some pictures from around the district. I don't know how I'll get it to Washington, D.C. because it's a big picture, but my grandma had a picture of a cowboy, one cowboy, bringing in a herd of longhorns. And so my grandma raised longhorn cattle, I raised longhorn cattle. And so, as somebody that grew up doing agriculture, to me, that picture in particular, I don't know why, I've always liked it because it represented, just the American West, agriculture, cowboys. And so if I can, it's a big picture, but if I can get that one to Washington, D.C., that might be a picture that goes up in the office. My message to everybody, whether you voted for me or not, is the exact same thing that I did as a police officer. I think I told you the story before. My first year as a police officer, I made 41 arrests, but I went to over 1,800 calls for service, which means 1,759 times out of 1,800, I wasn't there to arrest somebody. I was there to work together to solve a non-criminal problem, connect somebody to resources, mediate, refer them to somebody who could help. And so it didn't matter whether I was a Republican or a Democrat or something else. It didn't matter if they were a Republican or a Democrat or something else. What mattered was, how do we work together to be able to solve a problem and take care of our community? And so whether you voted for me or not, that's my commitment for the next 2 years. So I'm currently hiring staff right now because there's almost 800,000 folks in this district, and there's just not enough of me to go around, so I have to have some staff to help. But by January 3rd, when I get sworn in, we should have our office up and running with staff. So whether you voted for me or not, we're here to do everything that we can to help the folks in this district, and don't ever hesitate to reach out. Oh, there's so many things. So what I've done since I got home on Friday night, I had to fix the dishwasher handle because the dishwasher handle broke. I have to get new tires for my wife's car because they're completely worn down, and we're coming into winter, and she's going to need good tires to get through the winter. I had to replace a whole bunch of lights just in the house. I have to replace a side view mirror on the car that got smashed. So it's all of the things around the house that didn't happen during the campaign. I have to go change the oil in the truck. I have to go get the cows set up for winter. There's so many different around the house honeydew things. Honeydew this, honeydew that. There's so many different things that I have to do because I didn't do them during the campaign, and so that's what I'm catching up on now.